Appreciate everyone making time for us today. Obviously these are tough moments for an institution to go through. When you work alongside people and you care about those people, it's hard when you have to kind of shift gears and direction, and that's where we're at today. Mike Bobo, I can't say enough positive things about who he is as a person and what he's meant to CSU and the friendship I share with him. And I think he's an extraordinary coach. I think he's got a great future, and I'm excited to see what happens for him down the road. But I'd be happy to answer any questions now. Yes, sir.
Joe, what was your mindset leading up to this decision?
We thought, or I thought, a lot about just fan engagement. I kept looking for moments where it would be obvious to our fans in particular that Mike was moving the program in the right direction. I see every day, I think, positive indicators of where we're going as a program under his leadership, and was really hopeful that in the final 3 games that we would see some stronger outcomes. And I think we were competitive in every game this year, which was different from the 2018 season. But even still, Mike's the first to tell you that, wins are important when you're a head coach, and he holds himself accountable in every way possible. So, for me, it was just the thought of kind of going into another year with that kind of pressure on Mike. And, when you open up with CEO as we have for the last decade, that's a challenge, right? And, that's a key rivalry game for us. So I just thought a lot about what it would feel like in 2020 to have Mike go through that again, where if we didn't have a positive outcome, just, how that might establish the narrative for a 2020 season for him in particular.
In what ways were you able to get the negotiations going on the settlement? Because obviously it's a lot less than what the extension would have called for.
Yeah. I've got to give a lot of credit to Mike, and I think we share a really strong friendship. I try and be who I am with all of our head coaches, and we had a senior banquet on Saturday, and Mike said, "You have some time," and so we sat down immediately afterwards and kind of began the conversation that initiated what resulted in the news that we shared with everyone today. So without the kind of relationship that he and I have, I don't know exactly where it would have landed, but he wanted to do the right thing for all parties concerned. This university, for his staff, obviously for himself. It looks like he's got an evolving opportunity that I don't know if that's public knowledge yet, but I think he's got a good opportunity to kind of get repositioned and put his career on the track that he wants to put it on.
I know this is never easier for you, but you're talking about your relationship with a guy like Mike Bobo, who's a really beloved guy. Is it harder when you have to work with a guy like that?
In some ways, I don't. It's never easy, I guess. But I think at the core of it, he and I agreed that at the end result, we wanted to have a lifelong friendship, and I think we do.
Have you gotten to talk to the players, and what does it seem like about this?
We did. Mike and I did that jointly today. He was traveling, got back at about 11 today. I think went by his house to visit with his family, and then we scheduled a team meeting today at 2:15. And, we kind of had a little debate about the order, and Mike said, "Hey, I want to take it." So he addressed the team first, was pretty brief in his remarks. You could see a lot of love and care that was in the room. Some emotion, but in a real positive way. I think they're thankful for the relationship that they share with Mike. And then he handed off to me, and my message to the team was, these are difficult moments when we make a transition like this. I care for Mike. I care for those people in the room, the students that have come here to play football at CSU and earn degrees. And we, just reiterated over and over, that we want them to be patient with our process. And we are working in earnest to identify a new leader for our football program, and that we wanted them to give us the opportunity to put that person in front of them and for them to share the vision for CSU football in their mind, and hopefully our kids will stay committed to our program here at CSU.
You said that search is underway. Where's that at? Have you talked to candidates yet, or is it in
I'm going to be really kind of close on the information around that, but I can tell you that we're getting a lot of interest, and I think we're going to have a very, very strong candidate pool, and we're going to have a hard choice to make when we come to a final decision on who's going to lead this program.
As you look for a new leader, what are your non-negotiables, what you need out of the next coach?
I think integrity is always at the top of the list. You want someone who's demonstrated throughout their entire career that they've made good decisions. I want someone who cares deeply about the student-athlete experience. I want someone who's has a proven culture, that they've led programs that have had great success. I stated early today, I think a key criteria could be, not required, but I'd like to find someone that's had head coaching experience. I think when you have that, they've experienced everything they're going to see in a role here at CSU. I think that's important. I think that's really for me, something that could put us in a position to have set the pace and move in the right direction from the very first moment that person puts themselves here on campus.
Does the timing of everything kind of make recruiting difficult, and if so, what are you going to do to combat that?
It obviously, we've got a signing date now in December that's coming up on December 18th. There's a lot of schools right now that find themselves in the market for a head coach. We're one of them now. Timing's never really ideal, but we're gonna run an expeditious search and have a decision as soon as we possibly can, and hopefully give that person an opportunity to put a strong recruiting class together and one that can contribute.
Joe, if there hadn't been a willingness to negotiate down the amount of buyout, would this be happening right now?
I don't know. That's a hypothetical. I would have been surprised if we didn't get to the point that we did with Mike, with the conversations that we had. So it's hard to address that. But I did sense that that the change was probably the likely outcome of whatever discussions we got in with Mike.
And where will that 1.825 million come from? Last time you had to kind of hit up the university for a little extra money.
I think we're going to be able to manage it from department resources. It's spread out over 3 years, so Steve will tell you the accounting needs to come in the first year, but the actual dollars will come out of 3 different fiscal years. We've talked a little bit about how we might want to budget compensation for the next head coach, so that we have an opportunity to perhaps kind of self-fund it just through a choice on the compensation package for the next head coach.
With that national signing day coming up, does that put more pressure on the program to sign a head coach in that time?
That's why we're trying to do this as fast as possible, just so that we don't disadvantage ourselves any further.
Will you have an interim coach in place right now, just as a point person for the players, or how's that?
Yeah, I've already asked Ronnie Letson to do that, and he's agreed.
Have you set expectations for the next coach, or do you feel you have a honeymoon period for that first year to kind of get the new coach on that feet again, or have you set expectations of something you visualize?
From a wins perspective, I think it's hard to kind of obligate anyone to a number on the wins side of it. I think we've got a lot of strength in our returning roster. I think there's a lot of students that made significant contributions to play on the field this year. I think we've got really good leadership in the locker room. Our goal is to kind of keep those kids contained in the continuity that we have right now. I think if you look at our 2 deep, we had 82%, I think, of our students in our 2 deep will be returning next year. So, I think there's opportunity for early success, but we'll see how the season evolves.
Joe said, I guess, that you would not be using a search firm. What goes into that, and just kind of how will you go through the process without revealing any secrets?
Yeah.
Just how will the process?
Yeah. We've got a lot of people that are interested in providing strong advisement. people that have had a wealth of experience in college football, some of whom I've had longstanding relationships, and others that, you know, I haven't, but certainly they have a passion for CSU. So we're not gonna seek a traditional search firm relationship, you know, and I think we'll be able to work in ways that we preserve, you know, confidentiality for people. But, you know, I don't think there's going to be any shortage of you know, close advisors that can really help us key on the right candidates.
There's a particular close person that was on campus, seen on campus earlier this week.
I heard
Is
that.
part of the process?
I heard that. I don't know whether that is part of the process or not, but I did hear that this week, so that's pretty interesting.
Talking about new possible head coaching candidates, would you rather have an offensive-minded one or defensive-minded one?
Haven't settled on that really. You know, I think in either case you can offset that with you know, the appropriate talent in the staff room. You know, I mean, I think just by virtue of what kind of drives a lot of crowd interest, you know, you want to find someone who's got competency in offense, whether they bring that with their staff elements or they have that themselves. But you know, I don't have any particular predisposition to one or the other right now.
Who do you see as CSU's greatest selling points on the stadiums, obviously?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think when you look across the peer group, you know, I mean, I'm a big person who believes in just the core mission of an institution, and I think the Academy of CSU is strong. I mean, in a way that you know, we represent ourselves like many of the Autonomous Five. We're a Tier 1 research institution. I think this last year we did over $400 million or close to $400 million worth of annual research. We've had over a decade where we surpassed $300 million every year. That says something about the quality of the academy here. And then I think we have done really thoughtful things in how we invest our resources, and what we've done as it relates to the stadium, I think, as you just pointed out, is unprecedented, I think, in our level of play. So, you know, I think this is a really attractive job, and the early response since the news of today has really played out that there's a lot of strong interest in people that want to be a part of this.
Joe, you kind of hinted you said at the beginning that the fan engagement was as bigger a factor than the actual record, but those two obviously go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do, and they do and they don't, but they do, obviously. I mean, you know, I sometimes my mind goes to this wonderful world where people just see what their investment in the program can mean for the overall success, whether you're having success on the field at that moment in time, right? I've been a part of programs where the fans respond in tough years, and they respond in years where they're being satisfied with the level of wins that the team is achieving. And you know, if that's the one thing I could do over the 5 years that I've been a part of CSU, I wish I could really speak to each and every one of our fans and really let them know the importance of their involvement. Last year at the end of the season, I remember I you know, penned an AD statement, and I talked about the ecosystem, and there were people that pushed back on that thought, and I was like, how do you not understand that your involvement, your presence makes a difference? You know, we recruit with football for all of our programs. So when the stadium is closer to full, when the fans are positive, that has impacts on all of our programs. And for someone to not understand that, you know, they're denying a reality that I think is really important within college athletics. You know, there's a reason that tradition programs have sustained success. And, you know, it's because the fan base is present and engaged and involved. And that's the one thing that I'm going to work hard over, you know, this off season, this summer, is just to try and really emphasize how important it is for fans to engage around our program. You know, I think when I first got here, their most frequently asked question was, you know, when are we going to transition to an Autonomous Five? And you know, we audition for that opportunity every day, and the way that our teams perform and the way that our fans engage around our teams. And it's a bit of a chicken and an egg, right? So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to appealing to fans that, you know, their presence is necessary, and they've got to be a part of this program, even when we aren't having the kind of success that they want to see on the field, because that is that is really, really important to our long-term sustained success.
Obviously, Mike was here when you were hired. You've spoken about the kind of character that he has, and now you're tasked with finding his replacement. Do you feel any sort of pressure now that the next guy that you bring in is going to be your choice?
No, that's what I signed up to do, right? I mean, I've done this for a long time. I've been involved with other schools that have done searches for high-profile coaches in the sport of football and men's basketball, and you know, it's what I get up and do each and every day is try and make the right decisions to hopefully steward this department in a direction that we're trying to take it. And I've been clear about that. I want us to be the preeminent program in the Mountain West in everything that we do, including football.
Do you have a ballpark deadline you would like to get this done by, and what issues does it present if the candidate you're looking at is coaching into, say, early June?
I don't have any, you know, hard, firm deadline in my mind. I think the way that we're going to move this, it's going to move quickly, and we're going to make sure that everyone we're talking about understands that the priority is CSU, and they may feel like they have other obligations, and we'll see how we can balance those against what's needed here at Colorado State. But my expectation is who we hire is going to be pretty much 100% ready to transition their focus to CSU.
Anything else? Thanks, Joe.
Okay, thank you.